Hey, it's Del Jackson, LLhoops.com. We're doing a flashback tonight, 45 years back in the past. We're talking to Joe Becker of the Cocalico 1977 team that won the state finals. How you doing, Joe?
Doing well, thanks.
Good, good. Hey, we're going to test your memory tonight. So let's start with your memory of the finals.
Okay. The Mercer game.
Yes, sir.
Well, my memory of that is it was pretty one-sided game. We played very, very good game. We shot the ball well, jumped off to a lead right from the start and never looked back. I don't think they were prepared for our shooting. I think the way we shot the ball, they tried to pressure us, and we just shot the ball very well. And it was a good game.
Yeah, Coach Mack sent me some of the statistics, and we had the box score, and you guys were over 50% from the field. And for our listeners, that was before the 3-point play, correct? The 3-point line?
Point shot. Yes.
And Coach Mack said that you guys had a lot of shooters. Can you name your teammates?
Sure. Well, Phil Fosnock was the big guy. Pat Ross was a tall guy, and then Mike Dinger and myself. We were the four scorers on the team. Vic DiMatteo was another, he was the fifth man, and then Gary Beemansurfer and Jerry Stoner came off the bench and contributed as well. But the four that I named first, Phil, Mike, Pat, and myself, were the scorers on the team.
Yeah, that's what Coach Mack mentioned to that. He said it was difficult for other teams to defend you guys, because if somebody got doubled, like let's say Phil got doubled, then somebody else was open. And I looked at a box score. It was incredible what you guys shot. And then I was teasing Pat Ross. I said, Pat, I didn't know you could shoot the ball. And there you were, lighting up 20 plus in the state finals. Mm-hmm. So
and that was the thing. On any night, anybody could get hot, So it was tough to just concentrate on one player, because you never knew who was going to get hot. And then some of the games, like in that Mercer game, everybody was hot. So
looking back on the scores, you guys had a little rivalry with Lancaster Catholic. What do you remember about those games? I think there was 3 of them, and it got to overtime. Is that correct?
I think one for sure. I think the one that we lost there during the regular season was a 2-point game as well. We lost that one. I'm not sure if that was overtime or not. But yeah, we had epic games with Lancaster Catholic. They were a really good team. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, we beat them in the district semifinal and the state semifinal. So, I mean, that just goes to show how good the Lancaster Lebanon League was. That year, there was a lot of good teams in the league. I mean, Catholic went all the way to the Final Four, and Hempfield had actually beat Catholic out in their division, their section. So Lancaster Catholic didn't even make the county playoffs. So, Hempfield was good. Warwick was good. Lebanon, Sam Bowie was coming up there. Lebanon, they were a good team as well. So, but Lancaster Catholic and us had some good games. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys won the LLs that year. Was it Hempfield that you defeated?
No, we beat them in there's only 3 teams that actually qualified. We played Elizabethtown for the final, and we beat Hempfield the game before. We actually had a playoff game with Warwick. Warwick and us had tied for our section, so we had a playoff game with them and beat them, and then had to play Hempfield and then beat them. And E-Town actually got the bye to get into the final.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Pat Ross a little bit ago, and he was telling us a cute little story about he was hurt in one game, and he talked to Coach Mack and said, "Don't worry, I'm better for this game," or something like that.
True, that might have been
true Roscoe fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah. Talk to me about your team a little bit. Like, what things do you remember? Did you do any team building things? I heard a lot about Alston's Alley.
Alton's Alley. Well, that was actually Kevin Krause's dad. Was Alton. So they had a place in Denver. It was actually Mr. McCumsey was the neighbor there, so they put this rim up, they blacktopped an area and put lights up. So it was an area, it was a place that you could play, and we gathered around and played. So our particular team was very close. Back in them days, they didn't have as much stuff as they do now with all this, all the activities. So we were always together playing basketball and playing other, like Pat said about the snowball battle, and we played floor hockey up at Dinger's barn, and dunk ball up there. So we developed a very close knit team, which I think helped us.
And then were you guys all together all the way coming up through 7th, 8th, 9th?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same group of guys. Okay.
Yeah, and there was other, in the early years, some players that dropped out, obviously.
Right.
And it came down to 5 seniors then our senior year. Jerry Stoner was the other senior on the team. Yeah, we were together the whole way. And I think, probably other teams could say the same thing, but yeah, that helps you as you just know where everybody's going to be on the court then. And we played very well together.
Talk to me a little bit about Phil Fosnut. Obviously, Phil's passed away. We couldn't talk to him, but he was quite a character. Do you remember any stories about Phil during your time playing with him, or even after your time playing with him?
Well, I knew Phil very well. Stories about Phil. Oh, geez.
That you can say on camera.
Keep it clean. Oh, I don't know. There's just all kinds of little things that I worked with him in the summers painting, and we would just do stupid things like throwing putty down. Like, this is just a dumb thing. We're up in these ladders painting windows, and the customer had some beagles, and they were just laying in the yard. So I don't know. I think it started off a piece of putty fell down. Well, these dogs didn't know where anything was. So Phil and I would just throw these pieces of putty down, and these dogs were just so confused. And we were up in these ladders just laughing, just dumb things like that, But yeah, Phil and I were very close. I don't know. I don't have any particular stories. Just a lot of good memories.
Yeah, he was a happy guy. That's all I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I watched him play at Millersville a little bit, and I got to know him. I coached against him too when he was at Cocalico coaching. So had a lot of positive vibes about people that knew.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Right.
All right. How about let's shift gears. Let's go to Coach McElmoyle. Let's talk about Coach McElmoyle. He was transitioning from Coach Henry. So when was that? When you were playing, were you a junior?
Our junior year was Coach McElmoyle's first year.
Okay.
So no, I'm sorry. Our sophomore year, because Carl Unruh, the 74 team would have been Spence Henry's last year.
Right.
So we would have been freshmen that year. So our sophomore year was McElmoyle's first year.
Okay.
That team would have had Bill Dinger and Mike Fosnock, Dean Pennebecker, Don Beeman-Sturfer, Scott Beeman-Sturfer. So those guys were all seniors that year. And then we came in the next year as juniors, and then there was no seniors that stuck it out. So that helped us. So all the juniors, we all started then as juniors.
Sure. Was there any, like, in that program, did you guys sense any differences between Coach Henry and Coach Matt?
Well, just from watching Coach Henry, I think he might have been more discipline oriented. I think Coach Mack, and when I say that, I mean just more on the court.
Sure.
I think Coach McElmoyle left us, do our thing a little bit more, like as far as, and especially with the shooting and the shots that we took, might not have flew, quite as well with Mr. Henry as it did with Mr. McElmoyle, but and that worked out very well, So I think he was I feel just left us play our game a little bit. Obviously he guided us and had a plan for how he wanted us to play, but I think he just let us go a little bit more.
I think it's funny. We talked to Jimmy Kreider a while ago, and he referred to Coach Coach Henry as Mr. Henry as well. I mean, you know, you guys are 60 years old.
I know.
You know, it's like, yep, Coach, sir, yes,
Yep.
Mr.
Well, and that's how it was. That's right. I have a hard time, you know, like I said, I mean, I did work for him. I had a landscape company and worked for him for years too. And just have a hard time saying it. It's always Mr. Henry, Mr. McElmore, Mr. McComsey. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit. And I played in Anvil Cleona. I coached in the league. I reffed in the league. But there was always, at least when I was there in the 80s, 90s, there was always a connection. I call it the blue blood connection. So there was always a connection with Cocalico guys, past and present,
Yes.
coaches. They always know their history. You know, I talk to guys now and they can tell me what happened 10 years ago, or what are the better teams, or what are the better players. So how was that when you were growing up? Was that just starting with the Henry years?
I think so. Although, well, I mean, Spence Henry was a coach for quite a while, and some of the guys when I was in junior high that I can remember are still part of that family, you know, the basketball family. So I think it was started with Mr. Henry. And yeah, we've been close. Well, close. I mean, people do their own thing, but yeah, I've been in touch for a lot of years. We do the golf. You probably heard about that, the Slice.
Well, talk to me about that. I might have heard about it, but our viewers haven't. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's been going on for years, and Jimmy Cryer is pretty much, you know, the brainstorm behind that. But every summer, an invite goes out to all, you know, as many that are on the list, ex-players and not just players in the basketball and Cocalico's program, but other people associated. You know, Pat Duffy has played in it a number of times. He coached Lancaster Catholic, and you know, other people associated with basketball, managers and stuff, you know, get invites to the Slice tournament. And actually, I think in September we're trying to get a date for this year. So, and you know, a handful of people. Well, sometimes it's pretty good turnout. You know, you could have, you know, 5, 6 foursomes, you know, show up. But that's all part of it, right? And that helps you keep connected.
Nice. Do you have any connections with Cocalico anymore? Like with their coaches, like with some players? I mean, obviously you're still in the area.
Yeah, I live in the school district. My son played for Cocalico. You know, he's out. He graduated 10 years ago now. So I knew the coaches coming up through. Still know the coaches. I mean, Coach Signan is the head coach. He played for Phil. So okay. I mean, obviously, when Phil was a coach, I would go to games and watch the games and know, and know the players. I coached the Little League travel teams. You know, when my son came up through, then I got back into it when he graduated. I did it again for a few more years, but I don't anymore. So yeah, I've been associated with it, you know, for a long time.
45 years, man. That's
45 years. Well, that's since I graduated.
That's when you graduated.
6, 7 years prior to that.
I know.
50 years. Yeah.
It's amazing to me that it was not that long ago, but it still sticks out to people, even the newer folks. And that's one of the reasons we're trying to do this book. We're trying to get everything put together a little bit and kind of remember the teams that have passed. Coaches records, league records. It's going to be an interesting project, and I thank you for filling in the gaps.
Well, I hope I helped you. Yeah.
Oh, you did. I'm going to end the recording here, buddy, but we can still talk. Okay.
Okay. Sure.